Today we will be having a comprehensive discussion on MXM. The entire game. MXM was a MOBA MMO top-down twin-stick shooter amalgamation type bullshit game that was somehow better than basically every other game ever made. The whole shtick it had going was that everyone picks two characters and uses the tag system to swap between them. Between that, its WASD controls, a unique objective and point-based take on the classic MOBA game mode made for high skill capped gameplay and advanced mechanics like nothing that had come before.
Despite being released in 2017, MXM development technically started in 2009. It was called Metal Black Alternative and was a top-down twin-stick shooter game, kinda like Diablo, but in space. This game eventually got scrapped, but it served as the foundation for a lot of MXM. They even left the Easter egg in MBA's name, which stands for Metal Black Alternative. In 2014, NCSoft released Project Han. That also died in development because NCSoft is just really good at killing games, and their attention was turned to a new IP called MXM. From 2014 to 2016, various alpha tests occurred in Korea and North America until the game was finally released in open beta in March of 2017. On June 21st, a few months after the beta, MXM was fully launched. You would think that with basically 10 years of development, this game would have been amazing, but unfortunately it was plagued with terrible servers, poor communication, weird balancing, and grindy paywalls that turned a lot of people away, despite the core gameplay being really good and featuring a huge cast of interesting and customizable characters.
Characters were organized by these nonsense colors called attunements that low-key caused a lot of balance issues. If you had a better attunement than an enemy, you deal an extra 15% damage to them and take 15% less damage from them. Red beat green, green beat blue, blue beat red. It was really stupid, but meant that picking two masters of different colors was generally a better option. Now, MXM had a lot of characters. There was 40 to pick from, so your options include free ults for no reason, big damage, big booty, battlefield wolf, and he wolfs alone. Definition of average, has a stun. Moro's not competitively viable, they said. He can't be played in a tournament, they said. Apple juice and nukes, press R to win. Thai boxer, Pagamunda, rock. I am speed, cold lady, perfectly balanced, also a rock. The literal child, advanced cat gameplay, basically Muse-Dash. Cooldowns, what are? Come on, coach, put him in. Warm and useless. Becomes immortal, then stands back up and dies for real. Big blue triceratops looking head-ass alien smurf motherfucker. Not a face, ma'am. Thick and useless. Schizo sniper who likes crack. Best character in the game. Shut up, it's my video. Buried tall lady. The one with the massive time-gated level. He came looking for booty, and he won't leave empty-handed. All for this Ukraine thing, but she is still Russian. The bird is the word. Root beer. Turn them upside down and call them fluffers. Mustache midget. Caterpillar from London. It's just a normal stick. Nothing special about it. Brain dead chain smoker. Mexican robot with a medical degree. Instead of two masters, just play one overbuffed one. A literal god walking amongst mere mortals. Tasty ratchet bitch. Captain Corporation. Maybe one day there, chief, but not today. Each master had 6 unique skills, including an ult and a passive. When you select your two characters, you also pick 2 of the 4 main skills for each one that are bound to Q and E. So it was fully personalized. But of course there would be those dumb people who are just like, OMG, this character's Q is amazing. But no one knows what skill you're talking about because, my brother in Christ, you pick the button.
In addition to picking skills, you could select one of 3 weapon augments for each master. They usually increase the damage or range of basic attacks, but some of the more unique attacks had some interesting ones. These could be upgraded up to 3 times each using gold and funky MMO crystals. Certain masters had this stupid special material that you could only get from the RNG table of suffering and pain from certain time-gated PvE levels, which made for a pretty dumb interaction in grinding PvE stages in order to get PvP upgrades.
There were also these universal upgrades for characters called nodes. Nodes are these magic rocks that give you minor stat bonuses. You can buy them from this fat nerd or just from the menu. There are like 5 or 6 different tiers of nodes, but in reality there's only 2. The shit ones costing you gold and the good ones costing medals. If you're new to the game, then you just buy the blue tiers until you have enough medals to go straight for yellow, because there's no reason to ever waste your money on these ones. Like, if you physically buy purple tier, you're actually retarded. Every master has a certain node efficiency slot thing, where basically if you stack too many of the same node, they start losing efficiency, to prevent things like full skill power Death Knight from being OP. If you want the full effect from nodes, you gotta play the color matching game. Or you can be a rebellious little goblin and bend the rules a bit. Things like putting more damage on your offensive characters in their defense slot, since 8% damage is still better than 10% defense on someone like Suzuka.
Stages. The best way to get augments and free nodes without grinding PvP with randoms. Every level had enemies of one attunement, creating a massive bias towards certain masters to counter them. It also featured a light story mode where you could play on the easiest difficulty known to man while some lady read off of a script. Time-space distortion, where NCSoft can remind you about all of their games that are totally doing well and totally alive so that you can grind in true NCSoft fashion to get heroes from their totally amazing, well-selling in the West games. Nadium defense. Basically, you just fight hordes of enemies in Call of Duty Monkey Genocide. It was basically Ruark and friends protecting a big sword from kamikaze apes, and it was also unbalanced and foolish like everything else in 1.3. 3v3. The quickest way to get a match with friends was to play Arena, where 2 teams of 3 tried to kill each other over a course of 5 minutes. Battle it out on 3 random matches, of which 1 is actually good and the other 2 that are nonsense. 4v4. Battle over 5 capture points in a fast-paced and fun game mode where inevitably about 4 masters will ruin the fun for everyone, since there are no means to ban any heroes in this mode. Tired of committing war crimes on your fellow man or aliens? Play a few whack minigames, where the only fun ones are the ones that aren't any of the races or tile drop. Masters were also picked at random, but retained their survival skills and stats, so Bumaro was pretty OP, since he was the only one invulnerable while moving, and could also move faster than all the other masters.
While you could play minigames where you wait 30 minutes in queue just to get beaten by someone who randomed Bumaro, you could also play the main game, Titan Ruins, where you wait 30 minutes in queue to get beaten by someone who randomed Bumaro. Now we will be discussing the most important rock-based game mode MXM had to offer. Now, there's a lot to cover here, so I'm going to be commissioning a bit of help from everyone's third favorite master, Lilu.
Thank you. I'm Lilu and this is Haru. Nice to meet you.
Titan Ruins is a take on the classic MOBA game mode that puts 2 teams of 5 on a 3-lane map that prioritized a slew of objectives and featured a number of unique mechanics. There were 3 ways to win.
Destroy the opposing team's Titan core. That's one way to win the game.
Get 1,000 points, or have the most points at the end of 25 minutes. Basically, instead of something dumb and selfish like gold, kills added points to your team's points.
This number represents the score gained from completing objectives. Every 100 points we gain summons a devastating Titan.
Titans are these giga rock boys that follow the same nonsense color systems that Masters did. They would run it down mid lane and fuck up towers for you.
Titans share their energy with the team that summoned them.
Red gave damage and life steal, and blue gave cooldown reduction and move speed, and they were kinda broken. Green gave defense and HP and was kinda shit.
You won't know which Titan will appear first, but you can deduce which one comes after.
Basically, the order always went red, green, blue. So after the first one spawns, you know what each team is going to be getting. The map had 3 lanes that led to walls around each base, and in each wall there was a wall tower.
Enemies can't pass through these tower gates until the wall towers generating them are destroyed.
Unless you were Lilu, then you just flew over the wall. Yes, thank you, Lilu. Beyond that, on top and bottom lane were mortar towers. If there's an enemy Titan in the base, then they change over to mortar mode, indiscriminately bombing it and dealing massive AoE damage. Occasionally, an especially lucky idiot would just die to these because they stood too close to the Titan while it was getting shot.
Destroying enemy towers is the key to controlling each lane.
Each lane also had a Titan sight that, when captured, would reveal an area around the middle of the lane to your team. The side lanes also featured these fallen hero altars.
These hero altars are also very useful.
You can battle for control of these altars on the left and right side of the map in order to summon the fallen hero. Outside of Titans, this is one of the easier ways to wreak havoc on your enemy's base.
You know the basics, so I'll focus on advanced information now. First, let's cover lane combat.
Despite the typical MOBA layout, MXM played a lot differently to most regular MOBAs. MOBAs, and anyone who called this game League of Legends could technically be sued for slander. It was far more objective-based, and didn't really have a laning phase like most games. While you did level up, you mostly just started with what you had.
The overall flow of combat in Titan Ruins is usually to play cautiously at the beginning, securing the River King and jungle buffs for your team before they are poached by the enemy.
Anyone able to land a killing blow on one of these servants will gain its power temporarily.
You can go for altars early and safely to get 100 points to start off the first push. After that, teams will play offensively, defensively, or based on an objective-driven strategy to win the game.
Also, when you return to base, remember to upgrade your skills.
Thank you, Lilu. Yes, like Lilu says, as a replacement to buying items, each character had 4 skills unique to them that could be upgraded during the game. Every 3 levels, you got 3 points per master, up to a maximum of 18 to spend on whatever stats you wanted. MXM had 2 big bosses, King Tannian and Rozark.
If you defeat King Tannian, everyone receives experience. It will boost your entire team.
He would also give your team 30 points, which was pretty cool, but he was also terrifying because the platform he stood on was small and his attacks freaking hurt. Everybody gangster until Tannian starts summoning the spooky ghost orbs that make you run around uncontrollably in the middle of a boss fight. Rozark was this giant fuck-off dragon dude who was worth 100 points and a debuff to enemy towers if you killed him. But he was stupid tanky with like a bajillion health. It had this giant fuck you laser that you could jump over, but also couldn't actually at all. He was supposed to be this uber endgame boss, but he spawns a minute and a half into the match, so certain smart and handsome individuals would just kill him as soon as he spawned and take a massive early game lead.
Titan shards drop from fallen titans. The more shards you collect, the more incarnates you can summon.
Once you've obtained 5 Titan shards, one player on your team can mash Z immediately.
Only one team member, decided by a vote, can transform into a titan at a time.
The Titan had abilities like the Masters and could use 2 forms, regular for quick attacks and jumping abilities, and hammer mode, trading off movement for huge damage on structures and the ability to apply massive buffs on your team.
You can only control the Titan incarnate briefly, so manage your time.
That's basically the gist of Titan Ruins, but this game really had a massive learning curve because of how many objectives there were and what it was meant to prioritize.
Great job out there! I'd like to thank our friends on the crew for their hard work,
Yes, thank you, Lilu.
and God for his protection.
Thank you, Lilu. But of course, you can't have the full MXM experience without the lobby, since for most of this game's lifespan, it was the only experience. The lobby is where everybody hung out, because getting into a game was pretty unlikely most of the time. There were a lot of places to stand, like down here in the noob pit, but all the cool kids hung out by the jukebox.
Where you can listen to all the best NCSoft tunes. It's the meaning of pain when you're searching for scapegoats.
Good.
I'm the one to
Shut up,
blame.
shut up.
And the character themes from MXM originally, and mostly just upside down.
You gotta upside down.
There were also a bunch of pointless NPCs in the lobby, as most MMOs tend to have. Down in the middle here, you had the fat nerds who sold nodes and ran the bank. On the other side were the same guys. Don't worry, there's not 2 of them. They just run really fast. And also Dino, here to honor us with his presents and skin tokens. Look at this wacky boy. look at the no one knows how he got here. Over up top was Demonos in a dress, an obligatory black guy who did guilds. This fine piece of ass up here was the captain, who did literally fuck all and probably should have been a character instead of Titus. Alright, now this boy here. This boy was the guy. The real next master. Paco. He was the most important NPC because he actually did something. He instilled courage and ambition into everyone he met. Inspired a whole generation of players who took the time to press F to talk to him. He is the only one who truly deserved the title of Master. This lady didn't do anything, but you could see up her skirt on her Halloween skin, so that's cool. Now you too can effectively navigate this one-of-a-kind Broken Dreams simulator the next time you boot up everyone's favorite dead game launcher, Battle.net. Everyone's favorite dead game launcher, playdredgian.exe. I'll see you when we die. It's crazy to think that it's been 5 years since MXM happened. But it's weird to talk about it like that, though, because in a way, it's still happening. See, MXM was never really a game. It was a group of people. NCSoft had nothing to do with it. And anyone who wasn't there could never understand what it did. This game changed lives. It brought a random group of people together in a way that few games have ever done before. And then it was gone. Just like that. Happy birthday, MXM. To the game whose legacy, developers, and player base have far outlasted the broken husk of a rotting company that never deserved to own the IP. Even if everything is ruined, we are still here. Long live the community. Long live MXM.